Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Venus Williams hints at Olympic return. Nothing is impossible. Venus Williams has serious ambitions when it comes to her career. While some are surprised that someone at the age of 45 can play so energetically and have such a strong motivation, Venus Williams doesn't seem to see anything as an obstacle. The famous tennis player looks far into the future, even though she is 45. The performance at the US Open did not bring her the desired results in singles and doubles, but the fact that she is still performing at such prestigious tournaments at the age of 45 speaks volumes about her qualities and ambitions. In a conversation with the media, she talked about the possibility of performing at the Olympics in 2028. It is interesting that the American woman did not reject such an option. Aware that it is difficult to maintain motivation in the long run, there are many question marks over her head. But if she has enough energy and motivation, there's no doubt that we could watch her at the upcoming Olympics. Venus Williams' mindset. Venus Williams is certainly one of the biggest names in the world of women's tennis. Throughout her long career, she has shown that she truly belongs at the very top and deserves to win trophies. There are many things that make her special, but her mindset probably played a key role in her career, and it seems that the situation is the same today. Venus has emphasized in many interviews how important it is to stay persistent, brave, and to believe in yourself. The famous tennis player has always strived to overcome fear and to emphasize courage and perseverance. The sun was just beginning to rise over the palm trees of Palm Beach Gardens, casting long golden fingers across the tennis courts, where greatness was etched into every inch of concrete. A familiar figure stood in the soft morning light, tall, poised, and still unmistakably regal even after decades on the court. Venus Ebony Star Williams was hitting forehands. Not just light hits, not just a casual rally. These were the same kind of strokes that made opponents tremble 2 decades ago. Fluid, precise, fierce. Watching from afar, it was as if time had quietly pressed the rewind button. Somewhere in the distance, the whisper of a question hovered in the air. Could she really be coming back again? Chapter 1. The Eternal Flame. At 45, Venus had long been described with every superlative in the book. Legend, trailblazer, icon, survivor. But now, another word was starting to circulate, impossible. Because in the world of elite sports, there comes a point when age is no longer just a number. It's a constant headline, a whispered doubt, a question that hangs over every serve and volley. Can she still do it? Venus had heard it all before. She'd heard it when she was 30, then again at 35, and then again every year she stepped onto a court after being diagnosed with Sjogren's syndrome. But each time, she defied the narrative. Now, as the Paris 2024 Olympics approached, the murmurs had returned. And Venus, with the grace of someone who had spent her life performing under pressure, responded the only way she knew how: by training. Chapter 2. Paris in the Distance. When asked during an interview in early 2024 whether she would consider another Olympic appearance, Venus smiled, a smile that didn't confirm but didn't deny. "Nothing is impossible," she said casually, like she was talking about going out for lunch, not rejoining the most elite athletic competition in the world. The internet went into a frenzy. Fans speculated. Commentators theorized. Athletes younger than her entire career span posted tributes on social media, hoping she'd come back, if only to witness one last dance. But for Venus, it wasn't about the hype. It was about something deeper, quieter, and more personal. A voice that still whispered inside her, "You're not done." Chapter 3. A return not just for glory. If she did come back, it wouldn't be to prove anything. Venus had won 4 Olympic gold medals, 7 Grand Slam singles titles, and revolutionized the sport, not just with her talent, but with her relentless advocacy for equal prize money and representation. She had nothing left to prove. And yet, there was something poetic about returning to the Olympic stage, about stepping back into the very arena where she'd played not just for herself, but for her country. The games weren't just about victory. They were about legacy, about unity, about dreams. Dreams that belonged to everyone, regardless of their odds. Venus understood that better than anyone. In her youth, She was told that two black girls from Compton didn't belong on center court. She didn't just prove them wrong. She opened the gates for thousands more to walk through. So maybe, just maybe, returning now, older, wiser, and still burning with that unyielding competitive fire, wasn't a return for herself. Maybe it was for everyone who had ever been told they were too old, too broken, too late. Chapter 4. The Art of Reinvention. In private, Venus's return was quiet, methodical. She worked with trainers. She focused on recovery. She rebuilt her rhythm, like a sculptor chipping away at marble to reveal the form inside. Gone were the reckless sprints of her 20s. Now, every move was deliberate, intelligent. She wasn't just an athlete. She was an artisan, using muscle memory like a painter uses brush strokes. Young players came and watched, wide-eyed, asking questions. She mentored them, shared advice. But deep down, she was also preparing to compete against them. And not as a token, not as a legacy player, as a threat. Chapter 5. The Doubters. Of course, not everyone believed. The headlines were polite, but condescending. Williams hints at Olympic return, but is it realistic? At 45, can Venus still compete with the world's best? Inspiring, but is she taking a spot from someone younger? Venus read them, smiled, and returned to the court. She didn't fight the doubt. She didn't need to. She had learned long ago that greatness doesn't come from the absence of doubt. It comes from walking through it anyway. Chapter 6. The Sisterhood. Serena called her one night. They didn't talk about tennis much anymore. Their conversations were about motherhood, about life, about peace. But this time, Serena knew something was stirring. "You thinking about going?" she asked. Venus paused. "I'm not done," she said. Serena smiled. She had seen that look in Venus's eyes since they were little girls bouncing balls against a cracked wall in Compton. "Then go get it." Chapter 7. Qualifiers and Whispers. As the U.S. Olympic tennis trials approached, Venus didn't request special treatment. She didn't demand a wild card. She signed up like everyone else. And when the time came, she stepped onto the court in silence. Some fans didn't recognize her immediately. She wore no elaborate outfit, no entourage, just a simple visor, her braids tucked in, and a look of serene determination. By the time the second round ended, people were standing, cheering, whispering the words like they were witnessing folklore in real time. "She's really doing it." And she was. Chapter 8. Paris. When Team USA finally announced the tennis roster for Paris 2024, the world waited. The list scrolled down, and there it was. Venus Williams. Women's doubles. Partner, Coco Gauff. The reaction was electric. Gauff, herself a child inspired by Venus, now playing beside her on the world's biggest stage. The present and future of American tennis, standing side by side with its past. In the Olympic Village, athletes of every sport came up to Venus like she was royalty. Some had been toddlers when she last won Olympic gold, but they all knew her story. Her aura wasn't aged, it was timeless. Chapter 9. The Match. Opening night under the Eiffel Tower Stadium court was electric. Team USA versus France. The home crowd roared, but it didn't shake Venus. She had played through louder. Every point was a battle. Venus's body didn't move like it did in 2000, but her mind was sharper. She anticipated, redirected, frustrated the opponents. Gauff covered ground like lightning, feeding off Venus's calm. Match point. The rally was 24 strokes long. Then a slice from Gauff, a net rush from Venus, and a flicked volley. A classic Venus finish. Game, set, match. The stadium stood. The French clapped. Legends, after all, recognize legends. Chapter 10. More than a medal. In the end, Venus and Gauff didn't win gold. They took bronze. But no one cared, because what Venus had done was more than earn another medal. She had redefined the boundaries again, not of age, not of tennis, but of belief. She had shown that grit ages like wine. That love for a game doesn't retire. That greatness isn't a moment. It's a lifetime of showing up, again and again, no matter who doubts.